Right, it's my pleasure to have a special guest today on the modeling football course, and I'm proud to present Syed Farook, who's going to, he contacted me because he told me that people needed to know more about how, when they become data scientists and start working in clubs, what's the technological structure around them. So we in this course, we do lots of fun things about how we use data and all the data science sorts of things. But how is that technology actually integrated into the clubs? And that's not something that we cover in the main part of the course, but I think it's very important for anyone who wants to one day work at a football club using these types of methods. It's very important that they have an understanding of it. And so I was very excited when Syed agreed to do this talk and to talk about it. And he's got a lot of experience in this area, in particular as a deputy technological officer at Manchester United. And I'm very impressed with his collection of T-shirts from, I see both United and Arsenal there behind you. Maybe you can go through that later. But anyway, the main thing that you're going to talk about is Syed's going to talk about technological advances in football clubs. How is technology used now in a modern football club? He said he's willing to answer questions along the way. So if you've got questions, just put them into the chat and I'll either bring them up at the time or I will bring them up at the end of the talk. But without any further ado, I'll hand over to Syed and the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, and thank you for the invitation. And I'm very excited and grateful to have given the opportunity to present on your channel and to be part of your course as well, which is absolutely fantastic opportunity for me. My presentation today is going to be about how the football club use technology and how the technology actually used and maybe some problems along the way and how the technology helped the football managers and football teams to overcome those problems. And also we're going to speak about the technology stack within a football team or within a football club in a much wider kind of view. Also, we're going to speak about how technology department and IT department deal with data scientists. Because obviously data scientists create a lot of analysis, different models, different data, where this data is stored, how they maintain it, how it becomes a historical data that we can call it anytime. So I'm very happy to take you through this and let's go. So first, I'm going to give you an introduction about myself. So I am Syed Farook, Egyptian by born. I graduated from Egypt and I moved here in the UK about 18 years ago. I've been working in sport for about 16 years now. I've done World Cups, Olympics, Euros, Premier League, and Wimbledon Lawn Tennis Club. I've been around for 16 years now in sport industry in general, not only in a football club. In 2016, Manchester United gave me a call and said, would like to get in touch with you, and employed me basically as a deputy head of IT, and I was the IT operation manager, which means I look after the technology stack for the club, and also all the systems that goes in the around the club, whether that in the back end or the academy or the offices. So I'm going to take you through that journey in a few seconds, but I think this is just a brief introduction about myself. There are something here in Arabic, which is that's my hashtag on Twitter. I always, if I tweet something about technology, I'll just put it under that hashtag. Right. Today we're going to talk about the 30K feet view of what technology looks like in a football club. And then the technology within the football club is basically this bit. I'm going to speak about how data analyst and the analytics team deal with technology team, and what is the difference between them and why we actually deal with each other on daily basis. And then I'm going to take you through what the football systems are in a football team. And then I'm going to give a couple of examples, just maybe highlight the issues that we have in football teams and how technology helped the football managers and the football staff to overcome those problems and fix it for them. So that's basically in the football club, we see technology in layers. This is basically goes across the entire club, not only for the data scientists or the analytics team. So everything for us, we look at it as a three main layers, as infrastructure, applications, and data. Obviously, I can sit down and talk about infrastructure for all day long, but I just would like to just highlight the point that everything in football club basically based on the infrastructure that we built for the club, and then the application that we choose to basically serve everybody in the club, basically all the functionalities, all the requirements from each and every department within a football club. And then the data layer, which is you guys, that's basically your remit and your playground. This is where we basically support you by doing many different things, which is I'm gonna go through in the presentation. So the technology stack in a football club, basically, as we explained, it sits on three different layers. The infrastructure layer, that's basically all about technology, all the networks, all the servers, all the wires, all the wireless technology within the stadium or anything like that. But the application layer, this is where me personally, I divide it into 4 different pillars in order to serve the entire club. So the first pillar here is the stadium and match day technology. This is basically include all the ticketing, the gate system, the stadium systems, and the hospitality, the food and beverage, the garages, the many other systems that run in a match day, in a typical match day. The next pillar is the football system. In this area, we basically serve the football team in general and the academy, both of them. So the first team normally have the most exposure, everything they need, basically we do it ASAP, but the academy as well is quite an important part of a football club. And all the systems that goes behind it is quite rich collection of systems. So we will go through that list of systems in a few minutes. The business administration, this is basically anything that to do with HR, finance, normal IT, email accounts, things like marketing or anything like that. And the retail and warehousing, where this is basically a slightly different revenue stream for the club. So all the shops and the merchandising that runs through the day, anything to do with the warehousing and anything to do with the designing systems for the new kit, etc., etc. So these are the main 4 pillars within the football club. The next layer here is the data, and here you guys, that's basically your area. But we work on those areas in many different aspects. So I will be explaining why this area and what's our involvement in that layer in a few minutes. But in general, we have like a data warehouse and big data, obviously the data scientists who work in a football club, not mainly in football, but they maybe have data scientists that work for the CRM team, for example, or the marketing team. And the data integration, we do a lot of integration in the background and between the systems. Obviously, that translates into data visualization and business intelligence tools for the CRM team or ticketing team or the marketing and obviously the football team. So remember that slide, because we're going to refer to it in a few minutes. And along the way, every time we talk about any technology, we're going to have to refer back to that slide. So take a screenshot of it. So in the football analytic ecosystem, that's what I'd like to call it. We work together in between three different areas. The IT area, which is, as I explained, all the infrastructure, and then the technology area, which is all the database, the integration, the data feed, and all the other tasks that we do in the background. And then you guys come along and start to work on your data. So we prepare the data for you. We get the feeds for you. We get it ready for you. You just need to come in and do your magic on your data science. So the IT guys, these are the main stuff that IT guys do for the data analytics team. They look after your infrastructure. They make sure you're secure. They make sure your servers are running as it should be, with a good performance and available for you whenever you like it. All your data is backed up and archived if you need to. You have to flag what you need to archive for us, and we put it on secure storage for you. So that's basically IT involvement. When it comes to the technology, which is the part where we look after the database, we do a lot of integration in the background with all the data providers. So let's say, someone like WeScout or DataBomb or Opta, whoever you guys would like to deal with, we have to go and make sure that we are integrated with them. We get their APIs run, and we do the data feed management for you. So that the schedule of the data feed. So if you have like, let's say Sunday match, for example, we get this data feed for you right after it's been released by the data provider. All this data being stored in a database that we look after it. We do the monitoring and reporting on the database itself, and we do the interfacing within the database with the other systems that sits within the club. So let's say, for example, the medical data or the nutrition data or anybody else within the club. If you guys need this information, it's available for you in the database. The database maintenance, these are tasks that need to be done on daily and weekly and monthly basis. Software development, we do a lot of development as well. We look after the developers, and we do a lot of project management as well. So that's basically, how we cooperate with the analytics team and how we can provide for them an environment that actually work for them and available for them and work within the performance that you guys wish to have. So the technology in a football team, there are a lot of technology that's being used nowadays, but the technology being technology, it always evolves, and there is new technology every day. So I'm just going to show you a list of all, maybe not all the technology that we use, but maybe just part of the technology that we use. So don't quote me on how, giving you the full list of technology, but this is just an example. The football system, we obviously use GPS, scouting, video analysis, the gym and performance systems, the training drills and planning, the safeguarding for the academy, the BI and data visualization, such as like something like maybe Tableau or Tableau server, things like that. The medical system, the academy, the video analysis, there is a quite long list of everything. Those systems are not actually only used, they are another part of the systems within the club that's being used and get involved as well within a football club. So if you're talking about finance system, for example, there's a lot of work that's being done in the background. The relationship system for our press and media team, the press and media systems as well, the travel and ticketing for all our all our teams. So if you're going somewhere to, flying somewhere to play a game, for example, that team, the travel team, the travel and ticketing team get involved and then sort out all the reservations for you. The HR and recruitment and the communication systems as well. So these are just, maybe an overview, just consider it like a bullet point of what other systems that's been used within a football club. And I can see you guys thinking now how I'm going to get this data and use it in order to serve what I need to do within my data analytics or to produce maybe a module or something like that. And we're going to talk about this in a few seconds. So as you've seen from the previous slide, there is a lot of technology, and this is in its own creates its own problem. Basically, it creates a new problem because the football team basically suffer from a scattered and separated streams of information that comes from many, many different systems. And, this kind of problems, some people may call it the best problem you can ever have, is because you have a lot of information and you just need to stream it. But let's just maybe give you an example of what those problems are. So that's a real life scenario. And I'm going to leave you maybe for about 30 seconds to read that slide because it's a bit wordy. But I will just give you maybe a short bullet point of what those problems are. So the 4 problems that we have is basically, the first one was disjointed systems that they provide all the information you need, but in a completely different places. So the football staff will have to go and look into 2 or 3 or maybe 4 different systems in order to get maybe information about one point, which opens a door for maybe human error or common sense. And we all know that your common sense is different than my common sense because common sense based on experience. So, these kind of things are, waste of time, waste of effort. A lot of maybe human error might happen in this area. The other area is that maybe the loss or the leakage of data, which is one of the really very serious issues that you may face. If you get the data out and you have to put it on together manually, you put it on a USB stick or something like that, and you get lost. And suddenly someone knows what kind of maybe players that you're looking at for the next season. So what technology did in order to mitigate those kind of problems, we basically, and you can see the manager is a bit happier now. So we basically provided one platform that collects all the information in one place. So even for you guys, when you produce maybe a graphic or maybe analytics or visuals, those visuals might get together in one system, in one platform. So even the kit man have a place in that system. So the kit man, the data scientist, the video analysts, the coaches, the nutrition, the medical team, everybody basically get into one platform. And since we get everybody together in one platform, we can basically give people access to what they actually need from different areas. So if let's say, for example, you're looking at one match and you're preparing for one match and you're looking for your own players, you're analyzing your own players and you're analyzing the opposition. So if you're doing that analysis and you're trying to make sense of what would be the scenarios within that game, then you have all the information from your own system to look into, okay, who's available, who's not available. Maybe there are some issues or patterns here or not. And you can provide the solutions for it, or maybe flag it to whoever need to do the mitigation for it. So I'm just going to leave you for 30 seconds just to read the mitigation for it, and I will get back in about 20 seconds or so.
I can ask you one question, say, before you start up again.
Go for it.
There was a question that came in, and I think it's a very good point. You're talking about clubs the size of Manchester United. There was one question, is going to be very different if you're working for a small club, because then you'll be expected to do infrastructure and analytics. I mean, what do you have any experience or thoughts about smaller clubs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the smaller clubs, they use maybe different platforms. So rather than using big systems or using quite extensive systems, they use the light systems that they actually need. Also, small clubs, they actually outsource their support and their IT. So if you have, let's say, if we're talking about a club the size of Manchester United or Manchester City, for example, they have over 1,000 employees on a permanent basis. But if you have a small club, you probably have somewhere around maximum about 100 people within the club. That includes the coaches and include the admin people as well. So, you know, it's not one size fit for all, but I'm just giving people the, you know, an aspect of what the football world would look like, because as the technology evolve, even the small clubs now, they will in the future use the same technology as it becomes more affordable and more easier to use for everybody. So, and a lot of companies now, they do what they call it software as a service. So you don't have to have an infrastructure within the club. You only need to have a good network, a good internet connection within the club, and then you will be able to use the system, which basically sits in the cloud.
The single most common question I get asked at Hammarby by players and coaches is, how does the printer work? So
well, that's a very common question, to be honest with you, because as you walk through the IT help desk, you will find a lot of issues like that. There is a one number, and I know you guys like the numbers. I mean, 90% of issues within IT fixed within the first 5 minutes.
yeah.
It's just related to the person who sits between the chair and the keyboard. So
And the 10%, they take 3 years.
yeah, exactly.
There was one more question here while we're doing this. So if you acquire systems from third party, do you require that the system storage be in your platform or database?
It depends. If you acquire the system from a third party, and if it's a quite big system, there's no point having it in your infrastructure, unless if you're a big club and you can afford to have the infrastructure behind it and host it at your own expense, which is going to be thousands and thousands of pounds. If you're a small club, you're better off with the software as a service. If you're a big club, some clubs would like to have everything in their local network. So yeah, I mean, they especially the football clubs as well, because they like everything. They like to see everything they use. If I put that right.
Yeah. Do you have some best advice if you're running? There's lots of people asking about small clubs. So if you're running a small club and you're only one person as the manager of the analysis department, what software do you use for your analysis, and what drawing tool should you use? What should you invest in if you're just a small club?
Well, if you're only one person, I'll probably be using third party and online ones, because it's just not, you don't need the collaboration with it. You don't need the servers in the background. You're basically the only one client, and that software, probably if you use that software locally on your computer, that computer might go bust at some point. So I would use the cloud system and software as a service rather than having to buy the software and keep it on my PC.
Cool. Okay, I'll let you continue there.
All right, great. So that's just an example. If you're preparing for a game, for example, you have your data analytics that's already done, and you already analyzed the game and everything. You have the video analysis for it. Someone else came and put the video analysis for the same game. You've done the opposition analysis, and you've done the analysis for your own team. However, wouldn't it be really good to have everything in one place? So that's really what help the managers, help the football staff and the coaches. So if you have everything in one page, for example, let's say you already produced your analysis and you produce the opposition analysis, and we all know that it's a slight difference between these two. There is data are all about technical scouting. I'm sorry, I'm sure. I'm sorry. We all know that data can give you one big aspect of what that game looks like, but also the human eye is maybe give you a different aspect. But if you have everything else, if if you collect everything into one place where you can see the entire view of what all those analyses are, that would be a really good thing to have. So the next slide basically talking about how this platform serves the club. Okay, it's I mean, if you guys have any questions about this example or any questions about how we run the football team from an IT point of view, I'm more than happy to answer. But I would leave. I will allow about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the end, just to answer everything. Right, this is basically the football management system. And the areas that system looks after is quite broad. It looks after the players because even the players would like to to see their own information. They receive maybe some kind of notifications about the matches. So I'm going to play a match tomorrow. Where I need to go, at what time we're going to be there, what kind of coach we're going to sit in. Are we flying? Are we going with the coach? Or are we sitting on the train? All this information comes through the mobile to the players. The technical area is for the manager. This is where they put all their training drills, their analysis about the games, their plans, their calendar, for example. The scouting department, they obviously come into the play as well. The performance, the medical, the nutrition, the legal, the agent, the facilities, the equipment, logistics, and back office, and the academy management as well. And even within the academy, you get the parents of those players. You would like to know some information as well, and we send them this information in a form of notifications on their mobiles. And we basically say your kid will have a training on that day, from that time to that time, and the schedule is here, and that's what they're going to do. Sometimes they know what they need to eat, what kind of nutrition they need to consume, for example. So these are the one platform that connects the entire club together is really very beneficial for the entire football club. And I think I have reached the last conclusion. And just to conclude, there is nothing that could work without people, process, and technology. And in order to get everybody together, you need to be very clear what process you need to take, how are you going to run your technology stack, and what is your strategy, and what technology do you going to use, and who are the people and the skill set that you need in order to provide for the club what they require. And I've reached that question.
Cool. Thanks a lot. I'll if you've got any questions, then please put them into the chat. The question I phrased to you when we first spoke, which is a difficult question, is that often there's all this IT stuff, there's all these solutions, but then in the end, the whole club is just run in one WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Or comment, or as some sort of, yeah, I'd like you to comment on that.
Well, to be honest with you, we would look at the results rather than what kind of medium we're going to use. Even though I am all for the technology and all for using the technology in the right places and as extensive as you like, However, if it's a simple stuff that everybody is very familiar with and it gives you the results, please use it.
Mm. Good. So yeah, I've answered that one. Best advice for a small club. If you've got also in a small club, the data from multiple sources has to be brought to the same granularity. What can be done when you're using? Is the question to do with using SaaS? What's that?
SaaS.
SaaS.
That's software as a service.
Okay, software as a service. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So what can be done when you're using software as a service to bring everything together at the same granularity?
Well, if you have a solution within the club for like a big database, a data warehouse, or big data, any of those solutions would be able to deal with the API of the third party. Every third party, every software as a service, they must have an API for their service in order to communicate with other systems within clubs or different other parties.
Yeah. Good. I think that's we dealt with lots of questions along the way. It's a couple of questions you can respond to later where they would like to have your contact details to talk about how you can how they can use in various clubs. But you can I think the first place is you can contact Saeed on Twitter and take it from there. You're probably on LinkedIn as well, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm more active on Twitter. I don't actually use LinkedIn very much. Okay. Every now and again, really.
Yeah, I just go in there every now and again. So find him on Twitter in the first place, and contact him from there. But otherwise, thank you very much, Saeed, and stay in contact. Yeah, some people are sending your email address. Stay in contact with him there, and thanks really a lot for putting everything into context for us about how data science fits into the club as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, David. And I hope this lecture been informative and beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thanks. I've ended the stream now, so we're